Hello and good morning, my friends. This is Marta from Drop of Sunshine, and today I would like to invite you on my tutorial with a very simple, clean and easy card to do with a beautiful shine and lovely sparkly effect. For this card, I will need a set of stamps, and this is the stamps which were a free gift in a card making and papercraft magazine in issue 198. I've prepared myself two pieces of the A4 size cardstock. One I cut a little bit in half, and the other one I just score. And then I've got some embossing powder, some couple of inks, some pearlescent glue and metallic acrylic paint in a gold shade, plus two stencils. And I will start from the stencils. This is a piece of the A4 size card which I cut in half, and then I just trim it a little bit so I could have my mat and layer for my A5 size card. I will start by adding this pearlescent glue to the card with the help of the kitchen sponge, and as you can see my bottle is clogged because I unfortunately left it open and there was a little like a dry blob on the top, but nothing difficult. I just took a skewer and just scoop it up. And now I am adding that glue to my card, and as you can see it's barely visible. However, what it does, it will give me this lovely shine, and I really like this brick pattern. And once it's finished and you will be like looking on the card at the end of the video, you will have some close-up look photos. It will shine. It really add that dimension, like interest to the card, and this is something I really love to do. The only one thing with today's card for me is I have to wait for everything to dry in between the layers, but I am helping myself a little bit with the heat gun here and there just to speed up my working process. One more thing you'll have to remember, when you work with this pearlescent glue, you have to wipe your stencil straight away, because then it's very hard to get rid of it. So that's my advice for you. Whenever you work with some glue or some texture paste, make sure you wipe your stencil straight away. I'm just, as I said, I'm adding a little bit of the heat just to help up to dry quicker. And then I will be working on my next stencil, which is this lovely script. I think it's the Crafter's Workshop. I'm not sure about the brick pattern, where is it come from, but I do remember that this lovely script stencil is from the Crafter's Workshop. Now I just took a little piece of this scrap paper just to test which paint I prefer more, because I do have two of them. The gold metallic one is just bought in a Poundland, I think, and the other one, it's got some glitter and it's a deco art acrylic paint. However, I've decided to go with this metallic one because I really like this golden yellowy tone, which was which I achieved by using this paint. So as you can see, I cut myself a little bit another extra piece of the kitchen sponge, and I'm continue adding this interest to my card. It's nothing really difficult, and if you don't have exactly the same stencils, you can work with the one you have. Or if you don't have a stencil at all, one more thing you could do, have a look on your dies. Maybe you have some like a lacy pattern die or something, and just cut this little pattern, and you could stencil through your die cut pieces as well, and you will also have some wonderful results. Same with the paints. If you don't have the same pearlescent glue or any like metallic acrylic paint, you can use a traditional paint as well. And you could also, another thing you could do, you could use your embossing pad and just go over the card with the embossing pad. That way you will achieve this tone on tone look. Or if you want to enhance it even more, you could cover it with the clear embossing powder, and you will also get that interest to your card as well. So as you can see, I am wiping my stencil straight away, just so save me trouble later on. And then I will have to glue that pieces, and once it's dry, I will start my next piece, next step, which will be doing some embossing. Before I will actually do my embossing, I've decided to stamp the image a few times using this desert sand ink from the Memento. And what it will does to me, it will create a sort of a melted background. You know, like you have this like acrylic painting or something, and you always have this first row of the flowers or greenery up front in more like a focus, and then the background pieces are more like a blurred. So this is what I'm trying to achieve today. I am adding this few stamp images with this light like a craft color desert sand ink from the Memento, and then once I stamp the whole area, I will put the golden embossing powder on top of that. I will stamp a few additional up front, the same greenery pieces up front, just to create myself a little bit more dimension, having those two layers. And now I am adding some golden embossing powder, and the powder I have is a Wow Metallic Gold Rich Super Fine embossing powder. I really love that one because it's great for stamping a little details, and I really like it. It's not too bulky, so really stamps nice. And as you can see, once I'm heating my embossing powder, this additional layer of the stamping from underneath, it really gives me the feeling that there is a lot more greenery than just like, you know, a single stamping I would do if I would skip that step. I am just trying to adjust my stamp just so I have this lovely like a whole bottom side of the card, cover it with this gold embossing powder. Now it's time to work a little bit on my sentiment, and for that I am using the sentiment included in the stamp set, as well as this lovely flowery frame. I will help myself with the stamping tool just so I could make sure everything is nice and straight. Plus the stamping tool, it gives me the guarantee if I won't stamp it correctly from the first time, I could always go over and repeat my step. At first I was planning to stamp them both in a gold embossing powder. However, when I thought about it for a minute, I just thought like, no, it's gonna be too much embossing powder. So I just quickly went over to my other desk and grabbed another ink. This is the archival ink, and it's a potting soil. I'm thinking, I'm trying to find it. I don't know where I put it, but I'm pretty much sure this is a potting soil color from the archival ink, and I will stamp it in the middle, and then I will use the golden embossing powder for stamping my frame around it. I just thought it will look nicer if we have two different colors on the frame rather than have everything in the gold embossing powder. Once I had my image embossed, I am fussy cutting it. I'm just using my brand new Tim Holtz little scissors, which are perfect for this job. They're absolutely amazing if it comes for a die cutting, like a fussy cutting those stamped images, and I'm really happy with them. I've just bought them recently because my other I had the Fiskars, the orangey one you see on the side. I was always using them for fussy cutting elements. However, from my own stupidity, I couldn't find the other this Tim Holtz scissors I have with this like a red color tone handle. They are really like heavy duty. You could cut wires and everything, and recently I was creating a card and I couldn't find them, so I used this orangey one to cut a little bit of a wire, and I just chipped them a little bit, and oh my gosh, I thought I'm gonna be crying because that was my favorite scissors for cutting little elements. However, I just I can't use it anymore because with this little piece chipped, they just give me the rough edge, so it doesn't look nice. I've decided to add a little extra sentiments, which says happy birthday, and the stamp I'm having is from the Pink Fresh Studio stamp set, and this stamp set is actually, it was a free gift in a creative stamping issue 81, and that's really lovely A4 size set with lots of flowers and beautiful font sentiments, and I thought this happy birthday will match perfectly. Plus it will fill up this space a little bit and just add something a little bit extra. I didn't want to cover that pattern, so this is why I've decided to use a vellum instead of the piece of the white cardstock. I will be attaching my front panel to the card base. However, before I'm gonna do that, I am matting it with a hair inch bigger mat from the same white cardstock. I am not adding additional color like to create myself frame or anything like that. The main purpose why I've decided to have this additional layer like a mat for my front panel is that I use a lot of a medium on this card and it's a little bit wonky, so by adding additional piece of a paper in between, because I want to raise the panel with the double-sided foam tape. However, because the panel is a little bit wrinkled, if I would add the foam tape directly to my front panel, it would remain this winky, like a wonky cardstock. However, because I glued two pieces of the cardstock together, that really flatten up, and if you ever have the same trouble that you will be working on some front panel a piece of your cardstock, and that way like you use a lot of the mediums which has the moisture, like I did with the glue and the paints. And if you would like to flatten up your piece, you could do two things. Either you send it through your die cutting machine on the plain plates to smooth it up, or you can attach the piece of the cardstock underneath, and by gluing them tightly one on top of another one, you will just flatten up your front panel, and that way it will look nice and crisp, like straight. I also add a little bit of foam tape to this lovely frame, and the last bit I'm gonna do is I will add some Nuvo drops just to add an additional extra interest to my card. So that will be my card for today. I hope you enjoy this quick and simple card for a change, and I think I will be like trying to do lots of various videos just to show you different techniques and ideas you could create in your studio, because I know like many of you says like, oh, your cards are beautiful, but I wouldn't be able to create as build up like project because I don't have as many supplies as you. So I thought I will come with some simpler idea, and I hope you enjoy it. And also want to say a huge thank you to everyone who watched my video. Thank you for your comments, your likes and shares, because by sharing my projects and my videos, you help me to build up channel. And thank you so much. Have a lovely day. Stay blessed. Bye bye.